Hey, how you guys doing? My name is Yu Asakura and I'm making a short vlog this time because I wanted to talk about the experience of learning a language. As you know, I've been making a lot of Japanese lessons here on my YouTube, and I've never talked about how you we are approaching learning a language, and English is my second language. So then I'm always studying, whether it's grammar or pronunciation, and a lot of slangs. I'm an actor also. Like whenever I read scripts, I'm like, what is this? So it's always a new discovery, and it is true. You will meet some discouragements, and I don't want you to stop learning a language just because you just hit some bumps. So I'm making this video so just in case you get stuck, so that it's not a big deal. It just comes with learning probably anything, but especially language. So here we go. And first of all, I would like to just give you a big hug for studying a language, because in some way you want to see a new world and trying to communicate with new people, right? So I think it's a great thing, especially right now in this world. You're always on the internet, and this virtual human relationship is going on, and you are trying to go beyond, even on the internet, trying to go further to expand your world, and probably, hopefully, in the real world too, you are making new friends and whatnot. So if you are studying a new language or languages, I would like to give you a big thumbs up, two thumbs up. Yeah. So don't ever feel that what you're doing is nothing. Even if you just make one new friend, it could be a whole new experience for that person. So don't diminish your what you are doing. Okay. So starting with that. So there are a couple of things that me personally, I always bump into. Number one, the biggest discouragement is that, okay, for example, Japanese is my first language, right? So if I don't understand somebody in Japanese, or if I cannot deliver what I want to say in Japanese, it's not my fault. Because I know Japanese, it's my first language, right? So if somebody doesn't understand you, it's not my language's problem. It's either the other person didn't have the capacity to understand me, or it's not language itself. It's the content of what I say, right? So it's never the language's fault. However, if it happens in English, I always blame myself. Well, it's my inability of understanding or speaking English. Therefore, I couldn't communicate well, and that cannot be true all the time. Maybe sometimes, maybe a few times, hopefully, but a lot of times maybe the other person couldn't hear me, or I probably didn't hear what the other person says. Or I remember I was watching a TV show, I think I forgot what it was, but I was watching somebody, and I just could not make out what this character is saying. I was like, okay, I totally did not get that. And I was like, oh my God, my English is not good. I suck. Then later on, my American friend who was watching the show together, he turned around and said, did you get that? I did not understand what he was saying at all. I'm like, oh, so it was not my English then. You see, so we tend to blame ourselves when the reasons could be something else. It has nothing to do with your language skill, which probably is happening a lot. Sometimes people just there's something that doesn't make any sense in for native speakers. But for us, if you don't get the idea, understand the concept, we always blame ourselves. So let's stop that. Okay? If you don't understand it, so be it. Maybe the volume is low or the content itself is ununderstandable. Like if I read legal documents or like something so poetic that needs some more understanding of not the language itself but the mentality of it, or etc etc, it cannot be just the language. So my point number one is, let's not blame ourselves. Okay, so I think it's important because it's very discouraging. Okay, so that's number one. Number two is that I always hear this. So learning a language is like driving a car, not an automatic. It's pretty simple. So probably like stick shift, so you have the gears, you have this clutch and this and that, then you have to watch the road. So you are learning rules, and of course it's gonna take time. I've never seen a person who got in a car. Automatic is easy, just press the gas and just go driving. But the stick shift, it takes a little bit practice, and also every car has a little bit different mechanism. So, and then sooner or later you get used to it, and it'll be just your second nature. That's where we're trying to be. So don't expect to drive the stick shift on the first day, and it needs practice. Maybe if you get on the road, when you're a beginner and then car stalls, so what, it happens to everybody. So you're learning a stick shift, but sooner or later people will drive that car. Some may be good at it and then takes only a few days. Some may take a few months. It doesn't matter. When you get to the point that you can drive the stick shift and go to your destination, that's all that matters. So even if you're taking a little more time, that is totally fine. You probably will be a better driver because you took time to learn it so that it's in your body. It's not just the knowledge. You can read about driving a stick shift car for like, I don't know, $10, but you gotta drive it. So I would like you to just imagine yourself in a car and practicing. And it doesn't take special talent. The joke said, who was some, I think it's an American person. So they used to study French, I guess, as a second language. That was the most popular second language classes in school. So they go to France, then they get surprised because only this like 3-year-old child is speaking French, and then he or she thought, oh, French is so difficult, but even a kid can speak it, and French people must be smart. It's like, no, it's not how smart or how dumb one is. It's a language, so it doesn't take talent. Some may take a shorter time, some may take longer, but you get there. It's just a matter of practicing. That's another thing. I often heard that if you are good with music, especially when it comes to speaking, you have better time understanding and improving, because a lot of it has to do with rhythm or the tone when you were speaking. So I would suggest that maybe you listen to music in that language and you kind of get the tone and the rhythm if you are having a hard time with the speaking or listening part. So on the opposite side, if it's writing or reading, if you like to read or write, you are lucky. Then I think consider myself I'm the lucky one because I love books, and I just, I try to read. If the book is written in English, I will, of course, I would read in English, because even translation, I do it as my job, but it's never 100% true. Well, not true to the content, but it's not the same. It doesn't have 100% match to the original language. Although if the translator is really good, that becomes another literature. I try to be that way, but you know what I mean. So if you like to read or write, do it in Japanese or the language you are speaking, because the important part is that you get just soaked into that world, the content of itself, and then don't worry about the language itself, because the more you do something with language, okay, there's a difference. You read something that is not interesting with English, of course. I mean, in my case, English, of course, I get bored, and it becomes about just language. But if the story is good, or if the book is exciting, I don't think about English so much, and I get focused on reading the story with English. See, that's like driving a car and going somewhere. I have this big thing that I want to do, and I use in English as my tool to do this. And this is what you want to practice. You want to do something else with the language, and then as much as we want to focus on the language itself, but I think it's important that we start to use it as a tool in your real life, something that interests you. So, and when I write, my social media is like 98% in English, and my attempt to practice my English, and it becomes my second nature. And of course, sometimes I have to look up the dictionaries. Online, like this anymore, of course. But so at first, of course, it's gonna take time. If you want to say one sentence, then you just have no idea where to start. Yes, that case, you have to take time, then construct a sentence. But if you keep doing that, it becomes a second nature. Then you see a pattern of, okay, this is what I want to say. I said something similar in the past. I used that sentence. Let's do it again, and it becomes easier and easier. So I would want you to think that language is a tool. Then as much as you study the language itself, just start using it as a tool. Remember, you are just learning how to drive. Okay, so I hope it was short enough, but I can keep going on and on. Maybe I'll make another video. But today I just wanted to tell you that I appreciate you learning a new language, and I'm with you in the teaching part, and also as a teammate. I will be here if you get discouraged. So you keep practicing and studying. Then I will do my part. I will keep studying English, and so that you will see me on the big Hollywood screen. All right. Well, thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video, which can be a Japanese lesson or could be something else. Never know. All right. Bye.